Bill Gates at 20.
Yes.
When he came out of the gate swinging.
He's very by the book, Bill, you know, and he follows the rules, and he believes in, you know, he has strong morals.
What fascinates me about Bill Gates is his relentlessness.
He likes to drive cars really fast.
He's a big goofball.
Oh my God! A world premiere of First, a story about the early years of Bill Gates.
Absolutely. Bill Gates at 20.
Yes.
When he came out of the gate swinging. He was part of the team with Paul Allen that developed software called Altair Basic for the very first personal computer. And as happens, hobbyists, people who were using this software, didn't understand that they had to buy it. They thought if one of them got a copy, they could share it. Well, sort of like open source, but more like I found it and I'm using it.
Yes.
And there was a big fight about it, in part because Bill, again, 20 years old, son of a wealthy Seattle family, wrote a letter basically calling all these guys thieves. And they were extremely angry. And this is a play that begins with that fight as the background. And what we see, in a way, is Bill Gates becoming Bill Gates.
Well, he's got, you know, he's very by the book, Bill, you know, and he follows the rules, and he believes in, you know, he has strong morals about things, but then there's a couple little things, like he likes to drive cars really fast, and I thought that was cool. He's collected all these speeding tickets, and there's a little bit of there's a rebel in there, and that was, you know, that was kind of a cool thing to discover, that he's got this rebellious side.
What's the fascination with the first moments in our culture and our society?
Well, what's fascinating to me is not necessarily first moments, but those exhilarating moments when we think they're first moments. And sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. That moment when you think, I'm new, I've been reborn, I'm brand new. And sometimes we're right, and sometimes it's just that exhilarating feeling. And part of what makes First appealing to me and why it's been so much fun to work is because you see different characters in this play have that moment of exhilaration, I'm brand new, and we discover some of them actually are, yes. And for some of them it's a delusion. What fascinates me about Bill Gates is his relentlessness. I actually was going to write a play about the Quakers, and because they're...
That would be very different.
Well, it wouldn't be, because the thing that fascinated me about Quakers is they're relentless. They agree on an idea, on a social change, and they will work for centuries to achieve it. They will not let go.
We're not trying to mimic Bill Gates. You know, I don't even know that we're really trying to comment on his life that much. And so, you know, I've tried not to make any judgments about him, whether he's good or he's bad. And I've tried not to think too much about what the audience is going to think about him when they walk in the door, because I think they'll quickly get into this story, and they'll go along with us on it, you know, and they'll see our Bill Gates that we made.
And what is the one thing that you want to get across in terms of this character? As you're working through this piece as an actor, what is it that you're really focused on trying to get right?
Well, the central conflict in this play is that he's created this piece of software, his new company, Microsoft, and people are stealing it. People aren't paying for it. And so I think that's it, you know. I mean, I think if I'm trying to affect the audience in any way, it's to get them to agree with me that we should pay for these things, right?
As Bill Gates.
Yeah, but in an age of us pirating, you know, media, and you know, I mean, I you know, grew up in this era of, you know, we bought CDs until Tower Records closed, and then we just went on Napster, you know, and so it's exactly the same thing was happening then.
I always get people yelling at me at the stage readings, you've made him seem so nice, you know, we all hate him, blah, blah, blah. And then other people come up and say, this is the world's greatest philanthropist. How dare you make him look like, you know, this vicious, relentless, whatever.
Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, both really large sort of characters in this whole, you know, internet, in this whole development of personal computers. What do you think is one contrast between these two, which you would consider relentless characters?
Well, first of all, the obvious one is that Bill Gates was there first, right?
Yes.
I mean, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs were in their garage creating their machine while Bill Gates had this business and this fight. And so in a way, he was first, but he also, I think, isn't a guy who's that concerned about surface. And that sounds like a dismissing Jobs, which I'm certainly not. But I think that Gates is a programmer. And so he has a vision which is not about surface and how things look. It's about what things do. And that's just a different kind of mindset. And of course, computer programming is so fascinating because out of nothing, you make things do things. Yes. And it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's really a new way of being in the world.
It becomes more personalized, I think. You know, I mean, it's like the you know, us all working together to fix traffic. You know, it becomes the individual, because you as an individual can get your news from a friend of yours on Facebook instead of turning on a network, you know, channel. And it's and so I think in terms of the way we communicate with each other, creatively, but also just functionally, it becomes more specific and more about one-on-one, you know, and how we can actually kind of meet each other out on this place, the internet, you know.
It's like being brought back again. We come full circle into the small town.
Exactly.
Without creativity, there would be no technology, right? Technology is totally informed by human creativity. And then, of course, we use technology.
They're kind of in bed with each other, you know, especially, well,
happily married or about to hit a brink of divorce?
I think you're right.
In sin.
It's a little bit of all of those, right? It just depends on where we are at any given moment, but I think they feed each other and they help each other grow.
How do you stay creative?
How do I stay creative? Well, I write a lot.
Yeah.
I hang out with fantastic artists like Jeremy Kahn, Michael French, who's directing first in the entire cast.
You have to work with other people. You know, I can't go act alone. I've tried, you know, but it's not.
In front of the mirror, but you didn't
right,
quite work.
You do, and I do. You know, I do it actually on a regular basis, act alone. But it's incredibly less satisfying than getting together with a lot of people.
Thank you for
Oh,
that one.
thank
Really
you.
Appreciate it.
Mwah. What a pleasure.
So first, here at Stageworks. What?
Sorry.
Sorry.
You're gonna have to roll that whole thing over again. I really liked what you did there. I can't believe it. Sorry.
That was a tour de force from Jeremy, and you didn't catch it on tape.
I've never actually done. I'm so embarrassed. I've never done that before. I just realized I wasn't recording. Sorry.
Theater, we're just used to it, you know.
I'm not normally like this.
Professionals.
Yeah.
Trust